Okay, for tonight's virtual session, we're planning on talking about giving feedback, receiving feedback, as well as requesting feedback on Basecamp, along with giving and receiving badges. And we'll go into talking about how you can go into Basecamp and go ahead and view your feedback. And that's what we'll start with for today. And Linda, did you want to walk through that process of how you would view?
This is Basecamp, and to work on evaluations, we would go over here to speech evaluations. And let's say Marvin just gave a speech, we'll just pretend, and it was the active listening project. So we would go open this. You can see all the different evaluations, but we would open active listening. Launch it. And there's several different ways to fill out the evaluation form and get it to the speaker. For one thing, the speaker could just fill it out and could just print it and bring it to the meeting, and you would just fill it out by longhand. Or you could fill it out online. You would just type the names. And I already did one of these, but basically you save it. So here's the save icon. And I saved it to my desktop earlier. It's right here, active listening. So then when you're ready to do, or you could just write it out and hand it to them, or you could scan it on a copy machine if your computer will let you do that, if you have a printer that will scan. And then you get your PDF and you save it on your hard drive.
In order to give and receive feedback, you can only do so with members who share the same home club as yourself. So that is one thing to keep in mind of is looking at which club that you're set up as your home club. And that's also very easy to change because on the start page of Pathways, you can just go down below on the bottom and there'll be a link to return to the Toastmasters Pathways start page. And that's where you'll be able to change your home club. And that would be the quickest way to do that. For viewing and receiving feedback, you can go ahead and click on My Feedback. Then you'll be able to view any feedback that you receive. So I have feedback here from Linda. She also gave me a badge. And if you just want to review your badges, you can uncheck the box for feedback. It'll show just your badges. Or if you just want to look at your feedback, you can just uncheck the box of badges and just view your feedback. So those are some of the options to organize your feedback. If you want to request feedback, then on this same page, you would just click this box here and it'll give you a couple options where you can say, for example, I want more feedback on my evaluation and feedback speech 1. Then you can go to the next box where you'll be able to type in somebody who you would like to get that feedback, where you'll just go down and you'll just start typing in the name and it will appear on the drop down where you can go ahead and say I want this person here to go ahead and give me feedback. Then I can go ahead and request that feedback from that person. You can do that for anybody who shares the same home club as yourself. You can do this with. The third thing you can decide is who is going to see your feedback request responses. You'll just click this box. If you just want the Basecamp managers to view your feedback responses, then you can just check this box. Or if you want everybody that shares the same home club as yourself to view your responses, you can click on everybody. Those would be the two options there. There's also the option of inputting an attachment. This could be an evaluation form, because on your ePortfolio, which what which is what Linda was kind of going along the lines of, is how to have your evaluation forms printed out and then uploaded on the Basecamp. That'll oftentimes go on your ePortfolio, and that's only visible to yourself. Only you have access to those documents. If you wanted to share your evaluation form or another document, this is how you would be able to do that, is to click select the file and go ahead and browse to find your file. And then you'll click post, and that feedback request will be sent to whoever you've requested it to. If you want to view feedback requests that you received from other people, you'll click, let me just go back here. Yeah, there's a button here. This would be the options, the three little dots. Then you can click on the view all feedback request. And once I submit that request, then that's where the people I've requested it to are going to be able to see my feedback request will be here on their Basecamp profile. If somebody requested feedback from me, this is where I'll be able to view that and click on it and then go ahead and respond to their feedback request. And this is a very useful tool, because sometimes when you're at the club meeting, perhaps there's other things that you wanted to say throughout the meeting that wasn't spoken about at that time. This is an opportunity to go ahead and give members additional feedback after the club meeting, which is a very cool option to have. And that will be how you can give, receive, and request feedback, or this is how you can view and request your feedback. Okay, and for within my club, if I wanted to give feedback to another member, I can start typing in their name, and then it'll appear on the drop down, and then I can share any feedback or thoughts that I wanted to share with that particular member. I can
And you
also,
can add the attachment.
yeah, absolutely, you can send an attachment as well by clicking on this box. Down here, you'll find 5 various different badges that you can present. For example, if they're a great team player, you can give them the collaborative badge. If they were courageous, if they stepped up to the plate and they're hesitant about giving a speech or something like that, you can give them the courageous badge. If they went above and beyond what was expected, you can give them the exceptional badge. If they're highly creative in what they had come up with, you can give them the innovative badge. And if they inspired you perhaps throughout their speech or the way that they presented their role, you can give them the inspirational badge. And then you can kind of share your feedback for how you thought that they should have been awarded that particular badge. And that's just a way to kind of give appreciation and give additional awards and praise to other club members who share the same home club as yourself. And that will be how,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
is it necessary to give a badge after every speech or whatever?
If you felt like it was necessary, then yes, but you don't have to give any badges at all. For You'll have
Do
badges
these
out.
badges contribute to all of the steps required to complete a pathways?
Those are separate badges. You'll have badges that you'll automatically receive once you submit level completions. Oh yeah, my badge is right here. Then these will be all my badges that I've received. It shows that visionary communication has been activated, is what's being shown here, and as well as I received this collaborative badge. So if I were to complete a level completion, it'll say level 1 completed badge will show up here, or for level 2 completion, was achieved, then it'll have level 2 completion. So you have those awards that will pop up as you go along throughout your path. And then you have there's other additional badges that can be rewarded by club members. So you have awards for level completions and your educational progress, and you have other awards or badges that are given to you from other club members.
Okay, as VPE, how do I verify that someone has completed a step in their pathway?
If they completed the step,
Yeah, if they've completed an activity that is inherent in their pathway. How do I verify that?
if you can identify their evaluation form, then that will prove that they have completed that particular project. So if you can request, you can go into the request feedback page and you can ask them for them to send you their evaluation form to prove that they've given the speech.
Well, not all of them are speeches, are they? Not
Most,
all of the things that are required are speeches.
most of the projects are speeches, some aren't. There is a checklist that you can request from club members. That's another tool that you can use. If I were to go into one of my projects, all right, so going into this project here, when you look towards the beginning, it's a couple pages in, you'll find a project checklist. And this is a tool that you can use throughout your club. You can request that once you complete your project, go ahead and email me your project checklist that your speeches have been given, or that you met all the requirements for your project. That way I can go ahead and verify your speech.
Okay, so how do you document that you've rehearsed your speech?
How do you document that you rehearsed your speech? Once
Mm-hmm.
once a member completes the before and after the speech assessment, then the speeches are or the speeches are automatically going to be checked off. For example, the VPE did not go in here and verify that this was completed so that this can be checked off. And once I complete the before and after assessment for evaluation feedback, this is automatically going to be checked off. The same for researching and presenting. Once I complete these two, I'll submit the level completion request over to my VPE for them to verify that all of the projects have been checked off. And then if the VPE wanted any additional information to verify it's completed, then at that point they can request forms such as the checklist for all the projects if they wanted to do that. Or you can just go by the belief that your club members are ethical and that they went through all the steps in completing the projects and that they gave all the speeches, and you can just go ahead and check or approve the level completion. It's all up to the club to go ahead and decide what process that they would like to go by to verify level completions.
Well,
How do you go by verifying completions in your club right now with the traditional program?
um, usually we have that paper with all of the evaluations and the signature of the VPE or another officer.
Okay.
And since we are a small club, those people that are members generally attend. So there's firsthand
Okay. Yeah,
verification that somebody did something.
in that case, it sounds like that checklist will be something that will be recommended to print out. You can print out a checklist for all the projects, and then that way you'll have those on hand. And that's the way that you can go ahead and verify that those are completed. The same way that you use the paper to check off the level completions, well, not the level completions, but the manual completions with the traditional program, you can adopt a similar system with pathways to verify that everything is completed and getting signed off. There's nothing that will prevent you from putting together a simple system like that, of just having a form like this, like the checklist, to verify that the projects are being completed, and then it can be signed off by the VPE.
Okay. I expect that all of my members are very honest, but if I'm going to sign off on a level, I wanted some verification that in fact that level was completed.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise I could go through and sign off on 5 levels for every member of my club.
Yeah, it's very true. And one of the core values that Toastmasters lives by is integrity. And so that's a type of action that's not typically expected within Toastmasters, because we're all
Oh, I
here to
understand
learn
that.
and grow. And so it's assumed that all members are going to be working through the projects and completing the speeches.
Well, that was my concern. I don't really have any questions that my members are ethical, but I wasn't quite sure how I was going to double check that there's some record that things were done.
Yeah, and it'll, as far as it being checked off, once the after the speech assessment is completed, then that's going to automatically check off that box. And the way that you can verify that they've given the speech is to have a form such as the checklist to be printed out and filled out and signed, and then that would be a paper document that will prove that all the assignments have been completed.
Okay.
Because they have these checklists for all of the projects. This one's for evaluation and feedback, and it'll have the overview. It'll have the different steps that have to be completed, such as scheduling the speech, writing your speech, rehearsing it, and then presenting it. And there are two speeches actually within this project, as well as giving a speech evaluation. And then the member can go ahead and check those boxes and get it signed off or signed. You can just possibly sign the bottom of it.
Okay.
It's just a tool to use to go ahead and work through in ensuring that you completed all the steps for the project.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. No worries. Linda, do you have any other things to add about that idea?
Not at this time.
Okay.
I'm sorry I interrupted the flow of your presentation.
Oh, no, there's nothing interrupted. It's okay. Yeah, and as far as feedback, giving and receiving feedback is fairly straightforward. The main thing is to identify which home club that you set and what home clubs that the other member has set as well, so that you're able to interact with one another. And that applies to everything, because you can't see anybody on Basecamp unless you're sharing the same home club.
Okay.
Are there any other questions about anything, or
I think that they will come up as I have to do it.
okay, no worries. And did you see the video playlist that I've put out?
Yes, I do, and I have that.
You have that? Okay. Oh, perfect. And I actually just added another video. Actually, I don't know if I added it to the playlist yet, but I'm going to. I just created it today. It is on, yeah, I haven't added it yet, but I have a new video about feedback that I created that I was going to put into this playlist here. It'll be in there very shortly.
Okay, great.
And And Linda, do you have any other comments, or are we ready to close?
I just want to thank Sandy for coming and remind listeners that if they have questions to ask their Pathways Guide.
Okay, perfect. All in all, it's been a fantastic session. I really appreciate all your questions, Sandy. That helps to keep the session flowing. And I hope you have a great rest of your week, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.